Who has time traveled in modern Star Trek, and why? Time travel has been a staple of Star Trek since the franchise began, and several modern Star Trek characters have journeyed through time. Since Star Trek, the original series, every Trek series has featured stories involving time travel. Whether Captain James T. Kirk, William Shatner, and his crew are going back in time to save the whales, or Captain Jonathan Archer, Scott Bakula, was being visited by an agent from the future, time travel has long been one of Star Trek's most successful tropes. It's no surprise, then, that modern Star Trek would dip back into the time travel well. In 2017, Star Trek Discovery ushered in a new era of Star Trek television shows in the modern world of streaming. The adventures of Captain Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green, and the USS Discovery introduced new fans to the world of Star Trek and led to numerous spin-offs. Discovery and its first spin-off, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, began as prequels to TOS, exploring characters fans have already come to love. Star Trek Picard 2 brought back some familiar faces, continuing the story of Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart. These shows, along with Star Trek Lower Decks and Star Trek Prodigy, have made the modern era feel like a true Star Trek renaissance. With the introduction of Anson Mount as Captain Christopher Pike and Ethan Peck as LT Spock, Star Trek Discovery Season 2 took the show in a new direction. As Michael Burnham and her crew explore the mysterious red bursts and the figure known as the Red Angel, they find themselves in a fight to save the galaxy from an artificial intelligence system called Control. Captain Burnham eventually realizes that the only way to save the universe is to take the USS Discovery into the far future. Discovery Season 2 ends with Burnham donning the Red Angel suit and leading Discovery into the 32nd century. No longer beholden to established Star Trek canon, Discovery found new life in the far future as Burnham and her crew helped rebuild the devastated United Federation of Planets. Time travel has been a staple in Star Trek since its early days, but in the modern era of Star Trek, spanning Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds, time travel continues to play a major role. Across these series, characters have been flung into different eras, voluntarily or not, to save the universe or uncover hidden truths. This exploration of time manipulation opens up a fascinating lens on both continuity and character development within the Star Trek universe. 1. Michael Burnham, Star Trek Discovery. Michael Burnham, the lead character in Star Trek Discovery, has perhaps the most pivotal relationship with time travel in modern Star Trek. In Season 2 of Discovery, the crew faces off against a seemingly unbeatable artificial intelligence called Control, which threatens all life in the galaxy. Burnham's mother, Dr. Gabrielle Burnham, is revealed to have been traveling through time as the enigmatic Red Angel to thwart Control's rise. However, when her efforts fall short, Michael must take on the Red Angel suit herself. The climax of Burnham's time travel journey comes in the season finale, Such Sweet Sorrow. Burnham, using the Red Angel suit, creates wormholes that send the Discovery crew 930 years into the future, far beyond the 23rd century era of the Federation. This drastic leap sets the stage for the events of Discovery Season 3, where the crew lands in a vastly different galaxy after the fall of the Federation. Burnham's role as a time traveler is unique because it isn't just a plot device for a single episode or arc. Her jump to the future transforms the entire premise of Star Trek Discovery. The Federation of Burnham's original timeline is vibrant and full of hope, while the future Federation is fragmented and broken. Burnham's time traveling isn't just about adventure, it's about adapting to change, rediscovering purpose, and reigniting hope for a future that seems lost. 2. The Temporal War and Temporal Accords, Star Trek Enterprise and Star Trek Discovery before Burnham's leap. Modern Star Trek briefly touches on earlier iterations of time travel rules that resonate with newer series. The Temporal Cold War, introduced in Star Trek Enterprise and its complicated web of time factions, serves as the blueprint for a more structured view of time travel in the Star Trek universe. By the 32nd century, as seen in Discovery, the Temporal Accords, a set of interstellar agreements prohibiting time travel, have come into effect. This law was put in place after the temporal wars nearly destroyed the fabric of reality. The Accords not only affect how governments regulate time travel, but reflect how dangerous meddling with the timeline can be. In this modern era of Star Trek, time travel isn't just a casual adventure, but an outlawed act that could destabilize the universe. Burnham's leap into the future puts her and her crew in violation of the Accords, highlighting the drastic stakes and responsibility tied to time travel in this future. This outlaw status adds a layer of tension in Burnham's continued efforts to rebuild the Federation, as time travel itself has become a dangerous tool, as much a threat as an opportunity. 3. Jean-Luc Picard and Q, Star Trek, Picard. The return of Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek, Picard gave fans a deeper exploration of the character's legacy, but it wasn't long before time travel became a key element in his story once again. In Season 2 of Picard, the omnipotent being Q, played by John DeLancey, returns, sending Picard and his crew on a journey across time. Q's motivation for this time meddling is complex. He is nearing the end of his life and, in typical Q fashion, wants to put Picard through one last trial, forcing him to confront his past and understand key moments that have shaped his life. Picard and his crew are sent back to the year 2024, where they must navigate a darker version of history. In this alternate reality, the United Federation of Planets has become a xenophobic empire. Picard's journey through time is not just about fixing the timeline, but also about introspection. He uncovers traumatic elements from his childhood that shaped him into the reserved, stoic leader we've known for decades. Q's manipulation of time is as much about Picard healing his inner wounds as it is about altering history, making time travel in Picard not just a sci-fi element but a tool for emotional depth and character exploration. 4. Captain Christopher Pike, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. Captain Christopher Pike, played by Anson Mount, becomes entangled with time travel on several occasions in Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. His role in modern Star Trek is a tragic figure who knows his grim future, a disfiguring accident that leaves him paralyzed and unable to speak, adds an extra layer to his interactions with time. In Strange New Worlds, Pike's dilemma revolves around his foreknowledge of his fate. In the Star Trek Discovery Season 2 episode, Through the Valley of Shadows, Pike has a vision of his future after encountering a time crystal on the Klingon world of Boreth. The crystal shows him the devastating accident that awaits him, and although Pike could refuse to take this path, he chooses to embrace his fate. His willingness to go forward despite knowing the horrors ahead speaks to his heroism and acceptance of duty. Time travel for Pike, then, is less about changing his destiny and more about accepting the burdens of leadership. His awareness of the future informs his decisions, making every choice weightier because he knows what it could lead to. 5. Time travel's impact on modern Star Trek themes. In these modern iterations of Star Trek, time travel is more than a convenient plot device. It's integral to exploring key themes about identity, responsibility, and the nature of history itself. Burnham's journey through time becomes a metaphor for progress, as she must balance her knowledge of the past with a future that's unfamiliar and uncertain. For Picard, time travel in Picard Season 2 forces him to confront his personal demons, emphasizing that our past informs our present. It brings a more philosophical edge to Star Trek's time travel tropes, using temporal shifts as a way to push Picard toward personal growth rather than simply saving the universe. Pike's relationship with time in Strange New Worlds revolves around duty, sacrifice, and fate. His knowledge of what awaits him doesn't change his determination to make the right choices in the present, presenting a more stoic, tragic take on the implications of time travel. Inclusion: time travel in modern Star Trek is more than just a tool for exciting science fiction.